All right, we're ready to go. So thanks everybody for coming on tonight. We're super excited about the ideas that have been tossed around in the last few weeks. So I'll just kind of walk you back a little bit. My name is Lana Dijk. I've been in the health industry for about 20 years and I'm fairly new to LifeWave. This is, believe, about month number 7 for me. And like many of you, and probably some of the people who have been here longer than me, or some of you who have been maybe even shorter than me, you've experienced some amazing health benefits with the LifeWave patches. So it prompted me to kind of merge the two worlds that I'm familiar with, and that is the natural health world, and then of course the LifeWave world, which we're super excited about. So it is spring, and I hope that you can look out your window. I know my window is starting to be a little more promising out there, and I'm starting to see the green coming through in the grass, and the birds are chirping, and the sun is shining a little bit more, and it's prompting us to know that it is indeed spring. So with spring comes the idea of a fresh start. And that was what prompted me to gather a few people and put our heads together and introduce to you what we are planning on doing. And that is a spring detox cleanse, and we're calling it "What Have You Got to Lose?" Except a few toxins. So we're very excited about that. And so with the change in season, the body is in a state where it wants to get rid of the old. And so, we came through Christmas and the traditional season of hibernation, where we might have, been a little more lethargic, but we're ready to move now. We're ready to let that go, and we're ready to move on to a new spring season. So with that comes the idea of a cleanse or a detox. So whatever you want to call it. And I wanted to tell you why it's important. So just think, have you ever done a detox? Have you ever taken on a cleanse for, 1, 2, 3, 5, 2 weeks, 6 weeks? And what did that look like? And what I want to remind you of is back in the day when I remember my mom and my grandmother would pull the house apart in springtime and do spring cleaning, right? They pulled everything apart. They, pulled the furniture out. They cleaned all the baseboards. They were cleaning out closets. They were, the top of the cupboards were being dusted, and they were doing the spring cleaning. And that's exactly what we're going to do with our bodies. We need to get rid of those toxins at some point. We take out our garbage on a, weekly, bi-weekly basis, whatever it is. And now is the time to do a cleanse in our bodies. And it's the same concept. We need to take the garbage out of our bodies and start fresh for spring. So why I want to inspire you to do that is because this body is your temple, and it is the one you've got. So we treat it kindly. And with the LifeWave patches, we're very blessed to have the ability to age reverse our cells. And especially without the toxins within it, we can even do it more effective. So, what kinds of things are we looking forward to with a detox? First of all, let's think of it as our body gets to take a break, right? Especially our digestive system. Our gut is a very, very important part of our overall health, and gut health and microbiome health is very an integral part of how our whole body functions, our immune system, our energy system, and everything else that works along with it. So we're just going to give our body a break, and what that looks like is going to be sort of up to you. So, what kinds of things do you think that you might experience on the positive side of a detox? I'm going to give you a couple of hints. I just hinted at one of them, and that's gut health. Um, your gut health is, how you digest your food, how efficiently you digest your food, how it moves through the lower digestional tract and then absorbs into your system, and how you use your food as energy. We're going to have our bowel system work a lot more efficiently with a cleanse. Yes, definitely removes toxins. Thanks, Lynette. Cravings. How many people feel victim to cravings? And it's like you can't get it. I've heard so many people say, "I have a sweet tooth." Well, how would you like to not have a sweet tooth? Or I like salty, salty, crunchy things. Well, how would you like to not be enslaved by those salty, crunchy things? How about a clear mind? Many of us walk around with head fog, brain fog, not being able to think clearly, not being to be fully awake. And you'll be amazed at how beautiful a detox cleanse clears your mind. We want to give the digestive system a break. Long term, a cleanse helps in weight loss if you're looking at doing that. And Karl's going to talk about a big word known as autophagy. And some of you might have heard that before, but it's a very, very important concept that the body goes through once we get it in a state of detoxification. I'm going to bring my friend Judy in here, who has a lot of years of health coaching and doing detox cleanses. And I'm going to ask her to just kind of spin off a couple of concepts and help me give these wonderful people on the line here tonight some inspiration as to why they want to join us in doing this detox.
Yeah, thanks, Lana. It's a pleasure to work with you and everybody here on the call. One of the big things that I think that the reason why I really think it's a great idea to do this is because it sort of hits the reset button. And, just like we have to reset maybe our computers or whatever, we need to do that for our bodies. And the other reason is because I think that we're going to see that the patches will actually do even more for us. We're going to notice that they're going to do that much more when they can work with a cleaned out body. But of course, we really do want to get a handle on those cravings. And instead of beating ourselves up and feeling guilty all day long, just hit that reset button, go through some kind of a cleanse, and you're going to find the energy is better. The way that your skin will look will even improve. And more importantly, you'll have that assurance that you have eliminated some of the whatever it is we have in our bodies, some 200-300 different kinds of chemicals and toxins that we get in our bodies, no matter how clean you eat. It's in the air, it's in our clothing, it's in our soaps, it's in the walls. You can't get away from it. And so not having to worry about that toxic load really helps your liver. And when you have a really good functioning liver, you're going to have a lot better digestion and assimilation, and your body then can handle a little bit of that, those little treats that you have along the way. So I really encourage people to look at the benefits and to not beat yourself up if you only manage to do it for half the amount of time that you thought you could. Whatever you put into this, you're going to get some wonderful benefits out of it. All right, back over to you, Lana.
Thanks, Judy. I want to just encourage everybody to envision what it would feel like at a one step higher health than what you have right now. And that's what we're reaching for. So some of you might have done a cleanse before, and some of you might not have yet, and that's a-okay. So what Judy mentioned is this is going to be your cleanse. We're not going to compare your progress to someone else's progress. We're going to be here to support you in each step that you take. But this is your cleanse. This is not a competition. We are not going to have a competition as to who's going to go longest. That's not the goal of this. This is very individual for you, and we want you to get the benefits out of it. So you get to choose your time frame. You get to choose how long you're going to do it. And this is going to be 100% about you. And we're going to be celebrating the progress that you get to make. There are people in here that have done probably more than one cleanse or do them regularly per year. They have experience in doing this, and I want them to reach out to the people that maybe haven't had experience and encourage them. And then there's people who are going to be new at this, and you're going to have questions along the way. And I want you to feel very comfortable with reaching out to those people who maybe have done one or two or a few more and asking those questions, because we want to encourage you to continue, because the results that you're going to achieve with this, I hope not only inspire you to do another one, but encourage you, and the physical aspects of it will make you want to do another one in the coming months or whatever might be. Choose your time frame. But I think of it as house spring cleaning for your body. So Before we begin the cleanse, I'm just going to, if you do have a notepad, I want you to keep a couple of notes for what do we want, like what are some of the administrative details of this cleanse before we begin. Well, first of all, if you plan to do it, we want your 100% commitment. So what does that look like? Well, first of all, I want you to register for your cleanse, and how that will look is you're going to reach out to your upline director, or if you don't know who that is, reach out to either Karl, myself, or Judy, and we will be able to help you get registered for your cleanse. The registration for your cleanse is a commitment. So once we get your commitment to do the cleanse, we're going to ask for a picture of you with your patches or your order form that you've printed out to prove that you're going to get your patches to do the cleanse. So we want a beautiful picture of your smiling face with your patches or your order, that you're so we know that you're committed to do this cleanse. And we'll talk about which patches. There we go. Snap that picture there, Judy. So mark your calendars. We're going to start on a Monday. Our start date is going to be Monday, April 27th. So I'm hoping that everybody will be ready to start at that time, and we'll have our patches in order, and we'll be able to start.
I
So
think,
just
I think
just a quick,
the 28th is a Monday.
Oh, the 28th is a Monday. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm getting better on time zones, maybe not dates. Okay, so before then, we'd like you to place your order, send an email off to your upline director, and take a picture of yourself. But these are the things we want: a picture of you with your patches. We don't want a picture of you. We want you to take a picture of you for your cleanse results. We don't need to see it though. So before you begin, I want you to do these things. Take out a notepad, put the date on it, and I want you to note, what is my energy level today? And you might want to do morning, afternoon, evening. So what is my energy level? Where am I at? I want you to take a picture of your face, because I want to see if you notice a difference in your skin tone. When you take a picture of your face, make sure you take it in the same place that you're going to take it at the end. So if you're going to put makeup on, I would actually encourage you not to wear makeup so you can see your skin tone perfectly. Um, Take it under the same light conditions at the same time of day. I want you, if you have the ability to step on a scale and you're not afraid of them, then step on a scale, note your weight. Again, this is not about weight loss, but some people do experience weight loss. And if that might be your goal, then we'll see what your body decides to do. But chart your weight. Um, Take a picture, a total body picture of your body, and put a big smiling face on it. And then if anybody has the ability to do a BMI, body mass index, do it. If not, take out a measuring tape and just measure a couple of parameters around your body. Maybe you want to measure your hips, your waist, um, just kind of the major areas of your body that you might like to take note of that. Judy, do you have something to add?
No, I was just getting my husband to close the door behind me. Sorry about that. But what
That's not a
I
problem.
was gonna just interject one thing. When you said to maybe take your energy, it would be good to decide if we're like, if we end up wanting to share some of these things, we can, but this is all private information. But you might want to decide if we're going to do the energy on a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 5.
Oh, perfect. Let's do 1 to 10. 1 to
Yeah,
10 energy.
sounds good.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
All right. So those are kind of the things that we want you to note before you begin. And I just also want to say, there is no shame at all if you have to stop. Life happens. Like, the biggest thing that I can let you know is preparation is going to be your biggest friend. So on the Sunday before, or the Saturday before, or the week before for that matter, I want you to think about what kind of food you're going to eat, and get out there at the grocery store and grab some good, clean, if possible, organic food to eat while you're going through the cleanse. Make sure you've thought about water. Put it in multiple places in your home or in your office or wherever you are, in your car when you drive, because water is going to be so very important. Excellent.
And adding
Lemon.
some lemon.
Perfect way of an easy detoxifier is throwing lemon in your water. So those kinds of things are going to be really important. to make sure that you're prepared, because preparation is going to give you the best chance of success. So if you have something that happens that throws you off, don't sweat it. Like, this is all about you, and life sometimes happens, but it's all about. Love that comment. Yeah, we'll maybe be getting into that for the cleanse. um, what about the wine? Um,
That's a good one.
but
That's a good one, Val. But I think that we're probably saying no to wine.
probably,
Too bad,
yeah,
Val. Mm.
probably. But yeah, just know that life happens along the way. All right, I'm gonna welcome Karl in, and we're going to talk about intermittent fasting and fasting. Before I welcome him in, I want to introduce a concept. If you've heard of intermittent fasting, it's basically taking a break from eating, and I would encourage everybody to do a 16-8 at the very least. So 16 hours of not eating, but you can drink a lot of good beverages. And then your 8-hour window for eating, if you choose, is the 8 hours. So Karl's going to talk about intermittent fasting, and when you're drinking, I'm going to. Judy gave you a nice hint about good things to drink. Bone broth is a really nourishing drink while you're doing a detox cleanse. Herbal teas are really good. Dandelion tea is phenomenal to clean the body and the blood. Um, we're gonna give you the option of coffee, and maybe the challenge of coffee. And I would say alcohol, you might want to put on the how about we wait till after, and maybe we won't even need it after, because you're gonna feel less cravings as we go. But just a note on alcohol and why. Because it's the very first thing your body has to metabolize. So it leaves everything else unmetabolized until it deals with the alcohol. So that's why we want to leave that one for maybe a special celebration. Okay, Karl, over to you.
All right. Well, thanks, Lana and Judy. And I got to say, I'm really excited about being a part of this because the last time I did anything close to this was on my own. And I really had my doubts that I could make it. I decided to do a fast in 2023. It was an intermittent fast, and I turned it into a full fast. So before we get to the word autophagy, which is a fancy word for self-eating, self-devouring, if you go to the root word, we want to talk about controlling these cravings and our appetite. And I think a lot of us are guilty of grazing. You know, we're constantly here and there picking up and eating. And there's a whole science of that, but I'm not going to go into that. I think in doing this detox, it's really important for us to incorporate a fasting element. And I agree with Lana. You can try a 16-8, but I'm going to tell you guys up front, an 18-6 is not hard to do. And to break it down, it simply means that you pick your 6-hour window that you eat in. So you'll go to bed at night, not having eaten perhaps since 6 o'clock, and you will not eat until noon the next day. That's your 18-hour fast and your 6-hour eating window. Believe it or not, that's a big window to eat in. You can get that down. I've known friends to do it and get it down to a 20-4 fast, which is maybe a little more discipline, but I'm going to recommend 18-6, but if you want to start 16-8, that's your call. So you pick your hours from when you're fasting. You don't eat. It's strictly liquids, nothing more. Coffee black, no cream even, actually, according to, personal observations and stuff. But I really encourage you to at least do the intermittent fasting along with the detox, because here's what's going to happen. Opinions vary on when the body goes into autophagy. Some say as little as 12 hours or 16. I think it's closer to 17 and 18 that our body goes into this cleansing mode where it's taking out all the dead cells. It's literally taking it out of your body. And because it doesn't have anything else to work on, it's going to start, going into autophagy. And I think it's really powerful in the realm of this detox that we want to do, that we incorporate fasting. So whether you go to an intermittent fasting, personally, and you're not going to believe this, but I actually did a 10-day fast one time. I thought I'd never get past 3. I had no confidence in myself to go past 3 days on just liquids, but I did it. When I got to 5, I said, you know what? I'm going to keep going. And I stretched it all the way out to 10. And it was amazing what it did to my blood sugar levels, my energy. Lana talked about your mental acumen, the clarity of mind. You know, I just think that when we're going to do the detox, let's incorporate fasting, whether it's intermittent on whatever caliber you want to do it, 16-8, 18-6, or a full fast. Incorporate that into it. And we're going to post some helpful hints along the way, some things to avoid. And as Lana said already, if you have to drop out, you're going to look for the signs that say, hey, my body isn't ready for this. And you want to then hit the exit ramp on that, because you don't want to cause yourself to faint or have absolutely, no energy. So for some of us, it's going to be a real learning curve here. But I tell you one thing, we can all do some form of fasting in addition to the toxin. So the big thing right now is, get your product ordered, get in the group that Lana has started. What have you got to lose? I know a number of you have already gone into the group, and I want you to bring your downline with you. This is a great event that you can reach out to your downline and bring them into the concept of better life. Life Wave is a lifestyle, and this of what we're doing here is a part of that lifestyle. So I really encourage you to reach out to new brand partners, new members, or even people and say, hey, we can get your product ordered, because that's why we chose the 28th. It's a long enough lead out to get yourself situated. And one more thing before I close, start now. Start doing some discipline now. Don't wait for the 28th. I plan on going into intermittent fasting very soon and starting to curb the appetites and try to deal with the cravings, so that when the 28th hits, I'm already prepared and ready to go. So back over to you, Lana.
Thank you, Karl. Okay, so what we're going to talk about now is a little bit about the diet plan, because it's a big part of your detox if you're going to choose to eat. So first of all, let's talk about if you're going to choose to drink. So I mentioned bone broth, I mentioned herbal tea, black coffee, but if you're going to want to do a big challenge for yourself, you might want to even say, I'm not going to go with no caffeine and no coffee. So that might be something. The other thing is good quality water. So please spare yourself the pain of tap water. Make sure you have at least some good filtered water. And I highly encourage that you have some either Celtic sea salt or a Himalayan mineral salt or real salt, the real Redmond salt. That will be your friend. Those are your minerals, and put a little bit of salt all the time in your water. And that will be a very important part of your success in the fast. So be assured that you have some good salt on hand. And I switch it up all the time. I keep my body guessing all the time. So I use all different kinds of high quality salt in my system. If you get your hands on some Baja Gold, that's another great one. And make sure you have salt in your water every time you take a sip of water, because electrolytes are your friend. And we've heard Mr. David Schmidt talk about that. Thanks, Corolla. Good job. And we've heard David Schmidt talk about that many times, about how electrolytes are so important for your beverages. So, or in your water and in your, in even sprinkled on your food. So dairy, I'm going to challenge you to cut the dairy for the time that you're doing the fast. Dairy is difficult to digest, and you can maybe plan that for another time in the future. But dairy would be another challenge that I'd like to give you. But as far as diet plan options, I'm going to challenge you, and I think you know yourself the best, to eliminate one, two, three, or more things in your diet that you know are your vices. So I mentioned dairy, that's a big one. I'm going to mention the S word, and that's sugar. So sugar is one carbon bond away from cocaine. It is highly addictive. And there's a reason why people have these sugar cravings, the sweet tooth, and they can never get rid of it. So sugar is a big one. And the important part about this is sugar is laced in everything. So you are going to want to read your ingredient list, but even better than reading your ingredient list is eating one ingredient foods. So one ingredient food might be broccoli. There ain't no sugar in broccoli. I can be assured of that. And so what it is I would highly suggest you be very cautious of sugar because sugar throw you for a loop and probably does and you don't even know it. You might want to challenge yourself to get rid of, well, alcohol. I would say first of all, that's number one on the list. Seed oils. So seed oils are those nasty toxic oils that have been uh, oh my goodness, the process they use, it would shock you on what they do to seed oils to make them edible. They were not meant to be eaten in the first place. Canola oil, vegetable oil, um, uh, gosh, the list goes
Sun-
on.
Sunflower oil.
Sunflower oil is in everything.
Sesame
Yeah,
oil may be, depending.
yeah. I would stick to avocado oil if you can, tallow,
And
um, ghee if you can get your hands on some ghee, which is clarified butter, um,
extra virgin olive oil.
extra virgin olive oil, and a good quality extra virgin olive oil too. So, and organic would be best. In fact, if you can source organic for all of the things, that would be best. Especially if you look up the Environmental Working Group, they have a Dirty Dozen list, and those items on the Dirty Dozen list are the most important to eat organic. So ewg.org, I believe, is the website. And you might want to look into that as far as clean foods. So make a list of the things that you want to eliminate from your diet plan
And
and
write it
challenge
down.
yourself to
Write it
get rid
down
of
in the
it.
book, right?
Write it down. Yes, we want that alongside your energy levels of what you're going to write it down. Um, I want to just address meat, and I'm going to give you the option to choose your own way that you do your cleanse with your meat. Personally, I'm going to give my body a break from having to digest meat. Meat is challenging to the digestive system. I know there are people that maybe aren't at that level. So chicken and fish are a little bit easier to digest, and then grass fed if you can. If you choose to do beef, I would definitely do grass fed beef. And but I would say try to keep your meat at a bit of a minimum during your detox period and give your body that break, your digestive system that break, in order to not to have to digest that meat. So maybe just taper that down. So if you're used to eating meat every meal, you might want to start tapering that down. Now, Karl suggested, getting ready for our fast. So, or getting ready for our detox or our plan that we're going on into. So here we are, a few weeks out, and now you have the time to start. So you want to start increasing um, your water intake, your hydration. You want to increase that. You want to start decreasing your food intake and perhaps starting a bit of an intermittent fast. And then what I'd like you to do also is to just be cognizant of your food. And food journaling is a really powerful tool for you to see what works in your body and what doesn't. And you can often chart your energy levels based upon your food journal. And you can start to see that some foods are good for some and not for others. And you might discover that about yourself as you go through that cleanse. Judy, do you have anything to add on diet plan options? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I've been monitoring the chat and trying to answer different people's questions. Some of the questions would be good for everybody to know about, but I wanted to bring up two questions for you, Lana. One would be, what about honey? And the other one would be, what about eggs?
Um, Good questions. Honey, I would actually try to keep it at a minimum if you can. Honey is a great alternative to sugar, but it still does play with your blood sugar levels. So stevia might be a better choice, or for the time that you're doing your fast, or monk fruit.
Or monk fruit?
Yeah. And what was the other question?
The other question is, what about eggs? If you're sort of thinking, let's give your stomach a break from eating meat, would eggs count in that category, or would eggs be kind of a more of a personal decision because it's not really meat, but yet it it's a good protein, but it's not a vegetable, it's not a fruit. So what do you think
Right, right.
about if a
It's
person
definitely
wanted to really detox? Would eggs interfere a little bit with the detox process, or would they be okay?
I would say that you could probably I would make that a personal decision, and I think people have an idea of how eggs digest in your system. There's some people that can't tolerate eggs, and yeah, Luke's just saying he eats a lot of eggs, and I know a lot of people that do eat a lot of eggs. I
Yeah.
personally have no problem with eggs. I would say eat a good quality egg.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's gotta be organic and free range,
Yeah,
especially during this detox, time. That would be a really good thing. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I
I'm
would recommend though, during the fast, when your body's kind of trying to get, that it's gonna be discombobulated for a little bit because it's maybe not used to detoxing, and there's all gonna be all kinds of things that are happening. I wouldn't eat a raw egg at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Um, So where can we find some options? So this is where I'm going to ask you guys to share your ideas on our WhatsApp chat, and once we get you into the WhatsApp chat, and basically also the WhatsApp chat that we're going to put you into is called "What Have You Got to Lose?" So that's where we're going to meet everyone who is committed to the detox period. So there are a number of really great resources online. I thought about putting together a resource of recipes, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not going to recreate the wheel. First of all, because I think everybody knows their bodies and will be able to decide what they want to do with their cleanse. So Pinterest will be a really good tool for you. If you don't have Pinterest, I encourage you to just, even for the time being of your cleanse, you can type it in and find like detox recipes like crazy. Rogers Hood is a parasite and mold detox company, and I actually downloaded their free recipe book just while I was doing some research to see what kind of recipes they promote. And so there's so many resources online. And in our chat, if you find a good one, don't be afraid to share it. So we'll kind of leave that up to our group mind, our hive mind, to support one another in recipes. But I would encourage you to keep it simple. So, a very simple meal might be steamed broccoli, some sliced avocado, drizzle some clarified butter or some tallow over top, and a chicken breast or something like that. Or if you get rid of the um, meat, then you might want to do a smoothie, and in your eating period you have a smoothie, and we can share recipe ideas with smoothies. So I would just, the KISS principle, always keep it simple, stupid. Like, let's just one ingredient foods, and make those things that are if you have to read the label on it, it's probably a no. That would be my advice. um, all right, next I want to segue to detox symptoms. So, what might you expect at the beginning? And Judy, do you want to pop in here and talk about a few things that we might come across at the very beginning of our detox, and what we might need to push through?
Sure, absolutely. And that's really the whole reason, guys, why we're making this group. Because while you're going through it, you need to talk to somebody. You can't do this alone. It's not as fun, but you also need the encouragement, or you need to have someone kind of help you through. If you're having a really bad 3 or 4 hours and you've got a big headache or something, just pop into the WhatsApp chat room that we are going to set up for this cleanse, and just say, hey, I'm really feeling crappy. And you'll get people to come alongside you and help you and encourage you and remind you that, oh, have you tried this? Have you tried that? So we can all throw in other ideas as we go throughout the 3 or 4 or 10 days or whatever you're going to do it for. So you're not alone. And that's really, really important. But some of the things that you may notice will be, of course, headache. That's often a sign that you're not only detoxing, but you're coming off of something that your body might have been addicted to. You might not even know what it is or why. You don't have to, but just drink more water and put some lemon in, eat some parsley. That's a really good detoxer. So you can get through it if you know what's coming. So be ready for maybe a little bit of brain fog, and then you'll brighten up maybe a day later. You may just feel some aches and pains in your body that you didn't remember from before. But as I say, typically it's headache. You might get a few skin eruptions because as the body's trying to detox, it's going to push it out as fast as it can. And a couple of the ways that your body eliminates toxins is not only through the bladder and through the bowel, but through your breath and through your skin. So don't be worried. If you do notice that, then just cleanse with a very organic cleanser. If your skin is itchy or breaking out or whatever, your hair might get oilier. You could have maybe little funny kind of jolty kind of things in your eyes, the eyelids. And that's what happens to me just because my blood sugar is going down, it's regulating. Well, then I know I got to go get some bone broth, or I got to go and get some tea or some avocado or some fruit or whatever it might be. So your stomach might feel funny. Whatever it is, know that you're not alone. Know that it's a good thing that's happening. And every time you feel crappy, just say, I'm so glad because I'm getting rid of those extra toxins. One of the things that you want to look for is a bad taste in your mouth. That's a really good sign that you're eliminating some bad toxins. If you get a coating on your tongue, that's a very good sign that you're eliminating toxins. So think about probiotics. Somebody asked in the chat, should I take vitamins during my cleanse? Well, you don't want to take vitamins or minerals or supplements, on an empty stomach. So if you're doing like a water cleanse or a fasting period where you're not doing anything other than liquids, no, don't take your supplements during that time. But when you do consume food, that's when you can take some supplements. And of course, add in your probiotics and your prebiotics. I would highly recommend, if you're a type of person that tends to get constipated easily, you do not want to go into this cleanse with a constipated bowel system. So a couple days before, really concentrate on making sure that your bowels are eliminating really well. And then when the toxins start to get dumped as you go through the actual fasting, then they've got a way to get out quickly. Otherwise, they're going to circulate in a vicious circle, not get out of your body. And that's when you get all the side effects. So get those bowels flowing really well. What can you do to do that? Flaxseed, psyllium seed, inulin, fiber powders. There's all kinds of great things out there that can keep your bowels going. A little bit of senna tea is a little bit of a stimulant to kind of get things going, but lots of water, lots of fiber is going to be your friend. And I would start doing that at least a few days before you really start on Monday, April the 28th.
Perfect.
What about Miss Lana?
Thank you, Judy. That was great. I wanted to segue into a couple of supplements that you might want to consider while you're doing your time. Activated charcoal is one that's traditionally been used to haul toxins out of the body. It's a really good one. You can buy it in capsulated form, or you can actually just take it as a powder. I know I've made an activated charcoal lemonade in the past to sip on during the day. It's kind of an exciting way to cleanse. Just simply water, activated charcoal, fresh lemon, and then you could use stevia or a monk fruit to sweeten it, and some ice cubes, and whip in your activated charcoal, and you're good to go. A liposomal vitamin C. So liposomal is more absorbable than a regular vitamin C capsule or tablet or whatever, a little bit more easy to absorb. So a liposomal vitamin C is a good choice. You might want to do 1,000 milligrams a day. And the other thing that's really I like to promote during cleansing is milk thistle. It's really good for the liver, and it helps to kick off toxins through the liver. And maybe another one just to think about, and it goes hand in hand with one of our patches, is N-acetylcysteine, also known as NAC, NAC, and it is the precursor to glutathione. So those are just some that you can choose to have on hand if you want to use them. If not, that's up to you. Again, this is your detox period. This is your cleanse, and you can make your choices that way. So again, in our chat, if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer those. Okay, segue. I'm going to reach back to you, Judy. Um, and we're going to talk about, oh, actually, before I send it back to you, I want to highlight something that Judy did mention briefly, and that is environmental toxins. So, this is also in preparation before you begin. I want you to critically look at your body care items that you use. Your skin is your largest organ, and so it absorbs things that you're using. And so a highly effective cleanse period means being critical of what you're putting on and in your skin and in your body. So if you wouldn't put it in your mouth, you don't want to put it on your body. So critically look at your shampoos, your body lotions, your soaps, your detergents. And if there are things that you can't read in your ingredient list of your soaps and things like that, or it's not, it's not clean, I would challenge yourself now to look at finding some cleaner items, and they are out there. And so just be aware of that. The other thing that I want to also mention is that in amongst the detox symptoms that you might experience, you also might experience some emotional cleansing as well. We are emotional beings, and our body, mind, and soul all go together. So be prepared for some different emotions that you might not have been used to, because it can bring up some things. And again, this is where we're going to support one another in the chat. And maybe you want to have a cleanse buddy who is just your intimate buddy that you can call and talk to if you need to, if something comes up during this cleanse. And maybe that's a good challenge for us to know, if there's somebody that we can reach out to if emotional cleansing starts to happen, that we can support one another and just know that it's a normal part of cleansing, and it's a healthy part of cleansing too. So okay, back to before we begin. If you haven't already started on X39, if you're very new to LifeWave, I would encourage you to get going on X39 like today or tomorrow, or as quick as you can get your patches, because X39 is a frequency that might take a little bit to get used to on its own for some people. So let's give your body the best chances of getting through this cleanse and getting your system already primed with X39. Okay, and Judy, I'm going to segue to you on which patches and why patches during this cleanse. And I think this is the silver bullet in why our group is going to have a effective cleanse period greater than anything that we're going to see online using cleanse products or protocols. We have the silver bullet to do an effective cleanse using LifeWave.
Right. So yes, so people have already been asking that good question, which is what patches do I do and how long do I do it for? Well, of course, it's always good to start the patches a little bit ahead of the fast or of the cleanse or whatever you're going to do it, so that it's already incorporated into your routine and into your body, so that you know what is what's happening and what is doing what. So if you haven't been using patches all along, you want to start a good week or two ahead of time. But if you're going to make an order to say tomorrow morning, then you'll get your patches whenever you get them, and you can start using them. So there's all kinds of support and help that each patch is going to help you with during this time. But of course, the standard first main patch for all people, whether you're a beginner to cleansing or whether you've done this before, is the X39. That is going to be very important to put on every single solitary day during your cleanse and your fast, if you're not already doing that. But the other one that we recommend for even just beginners, even if you're just starting out and you're not sure what patches to use, the second one to use along with X39 will be the Renew, which we used to call glutathione. Now, glutathione or Renew is a very, very powerful patch. It's not only going to help with detox in the liver, but it's also going to help you heal. And your body's going to be really wanting to heal because it's not so busy digesting a ton of food anymore. So it's going to say, great, I got all this extra energy. I'm going to go into healing. So this is a good thing. Glutathione is fantastic for so many health issues and conditions. But remember that if you haven't used glutathione too much, you might want to start off a few days ahead of time by wearing it maybe less number of hours per day, or skipping a day and trying it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and just see how your bowels do, how your body does. And if you can tolerate that, great, then I would use it each and every day as you're going through your time of fasting or of intermittent fasting or of this detoxing period. Glutathione, if you can tolerate it, put it on absolutely every day. But for some of us, we're going to need to take it off if we're having too strong a detox symptoms, if we're really, really uncomfortable, and call a friend. And if you just don't think you can make it through, then feel free to take it off for a couple hours. Just stick it back on the front of the sleeve and then put it back on a couple hours later, or maybe the next day. So don't sweat it. We're going to talk about placement in a minute, but I'm just going to go over the basic patches that you're going to want to use. So we've talked about X39, we've talked about Renew or glutathione, and then the third one is to add in Eon. The reason why Eon is because it's going to calm down your whole body and your whole system, especially if you have any detox in the emotional area. It's going to really help you, but also it's going to help with the inflammation, because your body's going to want to get rid of a lot of extra inflammation. Inflammation is good to a point, but not too much. And you heard today in the webinar with David Schmidt that when stem cells are attracted to inflammation in your body, the inflammatory cells actually hurt the stem cells. They actually kill them. And so then you haven't got the stem cells doing their job if there's too much inflammation overwhelming these stem cells. So that's why we want to increase the stem cells and lower the inflammation so that the two can work well together. So just remember that those three would be my first key favorite patches for this cleanse, is to do X39, your glutathione or Renew, and your Eon. But beyond that, if you know that you have a huge problem with some kind of something that you're addicted to, whether it's potato chips or chocolate or just some kind of sweets or whatever, and you know this is going to be a rough ride, then already start putting on the SP6. SP6 is the specialty patch that is only worn on the left side of the body, and the little instruction book that shows you the 3 different places. SP6 actually sends a signal to your body, to your brain, where you have your craving center. And it literally will start to help you to not even want to have the thing that you think you normally crave. But it takes a week or two for that patch to be on to really give you the full benefits. So start now if you think that you're going to have some challenges during this fast to let go of whatever it is, whether it's a glass of wine or whether it's your salted potato chips or your candy bar. Use that SP6 to your advantage. And then the other patch that we highly recommend at nighttime is the Alavita. Did you know that it supports 9 different organs? And when you're going through this fast, every one of your organs is cleansing. And so wearing that Alavita at night is going to help support those organs. And it's very good with, of course, the skin. That's what it's sold as a skincare patch. It helps the collagen throughout your body, but it really is a patch that's undersold in the sense that we don't really talk about the medical study that came out that said it supports 9 organs. The best place you can put Alavita is either the back of your neck. So you just swap off the X39 that you might be wearing there and you put on the Alavita. But the other place that I have found Alavita works beautifully is right here over your thymus gland, or I wear mine on the right side of my temple. I have found that has really helped with sleep, but it also helps to stimulate all your organs as well. So those are the patches that you can choose what complement of patches you want to use. but the daytime patches would be X39, the glutathione. The nighttime patches are Elevita, and you can choose whether you use Eon day or night. And then SP6, generally we think of it as the daytime patch because that's when you're going to be trying not to eat the wrong thing. So you might as well use SP6 during the day. So I don't know, Lana, if we have time, but I can do a screen share to show the chart of the placement options of the various patches, but we don't have to get into that. We could just put that in the chat if we're running a little bit late.
That chart, Judy, is also available at Live Younger Success. So a little bit of, go get it for yourself kind of thing. It's right there.
Well, let's put it also into our WhatsApp chat. It's simple to do that, Lana. So how about if I just end here by just saying, you decide what number of patches you want to use during this time, but start a little bit early and you'll get a much better result from them. And remember that you really want to listen to your own body. Your body will tell you what works and what doesn't work. Over to you, Lana. You want to unmute there.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks everyone for your participation tonight. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for your enthusiasm. And in advance, thanks for your participation. We are going to, we're going to end this tonight. And I want to give you one encouraging note that if this is something that you want to do, take the action tomorrow to get prepared. And so start writing your lists, start getting your notebook ready of the things that you want to record for yourself, and get that order placed. And please share this with someone you might want to be your cleanse buddy or your detox buddy to do it with you. And reach out to your upline director, and we will get you into the WhatsApp chat that's going to be titled, "What Have You Got to Lose?" And we will meet there for further instructions and for encouragement. And we might even do another call along the way just to keep everybody in line and motivated to continue. So on that note, I want to wish everybody, oh, Judy's got one more note.
Just one quick question. There may be somebody who has one more burning question that they would like to ask. We have just a couple minutes before we need to end. I think that might be helpful because I'm not sure that I've been able to answer everybody's questions. They've been coming in quite quickly here, or comments. But is there anybody else that has a question or a comment that you'd like to ask? Either type it in or just unmute yourself.
Just to remember, I think people need to know the glutathione is called Renew in Canada, right?
Yeah, that's we did say that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I probably did miss that. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. No, we still like to call it glutathione because we just don't want to give up our old name. But absolutely, we all know that that Renew is our new name for that. Karl, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that with all the people that are participating, I think it would be a good idea to limit our questions, our shares of whatever that is, to the group itself where all of the participants are in, because otherwise we might get our information in different areas. Let's put that all, I'm just going to make a suggestion that we put it all into that WhatsApp chat that Lana has started.
Good idea. Absolutely. And Lana, can you just tell us one more time, what is the name of the group that everybody's going to be put into?
Yeah, it's called What Have You Got to Lose in WhatsApp.
That's right. I've already started putting in people that have told me personally that they're committed to wanting to do this. Royden has his hand up. Go ahead, Royden.
I was just gonna ask if you could touch a bit on how is this detox going to affect the parasite load? And when you kill off parasites, they release a huge toxic load, and that can be a real factor with Herxheimer and so forth.
Right. Lana, do you want to take that one?
Well, of course, with any kind of cleanse, a detox cleanse, also with a parasite cleanse, we're going to see some action with parasites. So this is the importance of rinsing the body. So this is where you might want to have, if you know that you've got or potential for a parasite load, this is where you're going to want to have your N-acetylcysteine to assist your glutathione. But the glutathione is so powerful. I've never seen anything as powerful as our glutathione renew patches in being able to rid the body. And they don't want to be around in the presence of glutathione. So what I would encourage you to do is, if you know that you might want to couple this or follow it up with a parasite cleanse, or incorporate it. There's lots of a quick Google search will tell you which kind of herbs to use for a parasite cleanse. And also in our chat, so this is also to reiterate what Karl said, is in our chat. This would be a good question. Karen Hallwas will be dropping into our chat, and she is our in-house expert live blood analysis practitioner, and she deals a lot with parasite cleanses. I've had a lot of information that she's passed along to me, and that might be a question that she's very attuned to helping you with as we get going.
Excellent.
So I don't know if I have a heavy parasite load, but I've been using a lot of glutathione or a Renew. Is that a good chance then that I'm pretty clean? I hope.
I would think that you're hedging your guesses in the right direction. I would say, yeah. If you ever want to see your blood, just go to a live blood analysis person. It's absolutely intriguing. The body is so amazing. So. Okay, I think we're just about at the top of the hour, so we'll be ready to wrap. I see people are already dropping things into the chat, so we welcome everybody's participation. This is going to be exciting, and we'll be linking arms together. I think we'll be a tighter family after all this is in progress and going to. So thanks everybody for your time tonight, and we will convene at the WhatsApp chat. And I just wish you all the success in the world. Your temple is worth it.
Absolutely.
Okay. If you want to unmute and